Hi there, this is Diecast channel, and in this video we're going to do a review on this 1969 Cougar Eliminator made by ERTL Collectibles, American Muscle, and the 1/18 scale. So stay with me to the end of this video. We're going to unbox this car and take a better look at it. And don't forget to subscribe in case you haven't subscribed yet. Give me a thumbs up, click bell for news, and share the video. So let's go on. So that's the 69 Cougar, which is a very nice car. It has a 3-inch longer wheelbase when compared to the Mustang, and this line for a 69 pretty close to the 9 of 1970, just like that 1970 Cougar I've shown before. The car's got this body line and stripe that's made with a decal as well as a Cougar logo right here. The directional lights made in acrylic. It's crystal in the front and red in the rear, and very realistic wheels and tires, just like the wheels and tires of a Mustang, with those very realistic looking rims. The color of the car looks very nice, and unfortunately this car has got some rashes right here in the hood. I intend to try to repair them sometime, and the trunk lid unfortunately does not open. Find a way to make a hinge for it so it can open and close correctly, but that's going to be a future project. The Mercury Cougar for 1969 started being a little bit bolder when compared to 1968. For those who wanted a Mustang for its performance but didn't want cars plain as a Mustang, could count on the Cougar to have a more luxurious car with a very good performance. And the Mercury Cougar Eliminator had a very powerful 328 Cobra Jet V8 engine, which gave the car around 250 horsepower. Cougar for 1969 has a new grille with a concealed headlights. In the rear, the new tail lights with those side blinkers that continued in 1970, but they didn't exist in 1967 and 68, although the tail lights were quite similar to 67 and 68 models. The rear spoiler on the trunk lid. This Cougar's got some nice features, such as those panographic hinges for the hood and the doors that have an opening just like the ones in real cars. So it really doesn't make any sense for me to have the trunk lid fixed. It really doesn't make any sense at all. I think it's kind of weird ERTL doing that for saving money, for instance. In my opinion, the 1969 is the most beautiful Cougar among the ones between 1967 and 1970. 1970, I think, is a sort of a mixture of a 1968 with a 1971, but I still prefer the 1969. Same thing I think about the Ford Mustang. I like the 1969 Mustang better than the 1970 Mustang. Let me know down in the comments which one do you prefer. As we notice, this grille looks very nice and pretty much correct, although it's not a grill really, it's a rather a mash simulation, and it's got a grill element right here in the middle, dividing the grill in two equal parts. One with the Cougar logo, Cougar is an animal, and the trim around him, and the front bumper with a very good quality chrome. And a Cougar logo right here that's painted on is just like a decal, instead of being a photo etch that would happen, for example, in the Authentics models. The hinges with the pantographic springs are much better than the ones we find in cheaper ERTL models. The hood could be a little better, especially with those mushroom rivets right here that hold that hood scoop atop of it. It's a fake hood scoop indeed. And the trim looks good. Directional lights and the front spoiler right here look very good. And the front as a whole looks very nice. The air filter looks nice. The engine and the engine bay look pretty much correct. The engine has hoses, wires, cables, brake master cylinder, very nice made engine bay, reinforcements, caution fan sticker on the radiator shroud, radiator with a radiator cap, a battery with its terminals, and very nice details, although they are not as good as the one in the Authentics. Remember, this is not an Authentics car. It's an intermediate ERTL with improvements. such as those pantographic spring system hinges we find in the hood. Still, the engine bay looks very nice. We can even see the AC. That was part of a luxurious car of the time. The hood shuts correctly. Once you shut the hood, you have to push a little bit here because of the hinges. They're not so accurate as the ones we find in authentic cars, but it's still very good. And the hood is very well aligned. There are no big gaps, no misalignments, no issues at all. The transparency of a windshield is very good. The windshield wipers are separate pieces, and those parts are very well made. The trim around the windshield is cast in metal and painted on, and it looks very good. And the antenna is made of metal, the plastic chrome base. Perhaps this scoop opening here should be painted black so it could be a little more realistic. Hood restraints with clips. They're not really the best ones I've seen, but they're not really bad. Phoenix does not make those clips just like Highway 61 either, so that's not a big issue. The interior of a car looks good. 3-spoke steering wheel looks pretty much correct. Dashboard with the gauges look very accurate. The 4 on the floor so we can see the pedals, gas, brake and clutch. Trim and steering wheel looks very good. And the wood grain pattern very well simulated. Seats tilt. The threshold has a chrome trim. The mirror is very good in the right proportion. The interior of the car looks very nice. This dashboard is pretty much like the Mustang dashboard. It's got a symmetry. The air conditioning outlets in the center, the radio and the air conditioning controls, and a gear lever with no central console, and a floor that's got a texture instead of having a carpet and a floor mat. The seats are pretty good. They have some very tiny flashes here. They're very good tilting seats. And a door that's got the correct opening. Headliner's rather simulation on a transparency. The door panel and the internal lateral panel are very nice. They have those wood grain patterns, logo, and all trim elements, and the armrests, just like it happened to the real car. A rear end with a Cougar logo, that's a decal, just like the trunk lock. It's just a decal really. It's not even cast in metal. This rear spoiler, I'm not really crazy about. And the unfortunately fixed trunk lid, as we can see, is a separate piece, but it's a separate part, but it doesn't open. The taillights are very nice and pretty much correct, all made in acrylic, with a trim right here in the center and a tail panel made in the tail lights actually. And the 2 directional lights, very accurate and pretty much correct. Rear bumper with very good quality chrome, and a dual exhaust and the lights. The base of the car looks pretty good with the correct textures and the types of black, the satin black, the flat black, and the texture black, with the right suspensions, the rear suspension, the front suspension, the fixed drive shaft. This drive shaft does not spin, does not an authentic car, of course. Mufflers have some little flashings, but they're really little. They could be repaired pretty easily. Gas tank looks pretty nice. The engine in the correct color, the Ford blue, and the front suspension with a steering system that actually steers, and the rear suspension with the springs and shocks, just like we find in a real car. So in general, this base is very well made with very good wheels and tires. So I would say this is a pretty good car, really. It's an intermediate model. It's time to give this car a grade. And from 0 to 10, I would give it an 8.5. I wouldn't give it a 9 because of those rashes I have on the hood that really make the painting not really 100%. I think I'm going to try to repair those rashes, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make them like brand new, so let's see what happens. Open and trunk and lid would be very desirable to have, especially because ERTL can do it. But anyway, it's a very nice car, it's a very nice model car, and a very nice item to have in a collection of Ford muscle cars. So I'd like to thank you for all likes and views, for all subscriptions. Please don't forget to subscribe in case you haven't subscribed yet. and let me know down in your comments what you think about the car and about the video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, that helps the channel a lot. And also to click the bell for news. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.